results. 3 X's.
You win a SpongeBob popsicle.
Capitalism at its finest.
Hello everyone, it is me, GamePango21, and I think I'm going to just put a quick addendum onto this video. I have gotten over sickness, mostly, because this intro had a more sick intro. But this will be like the second one. And I had a bit of a time recording this, and I think that I left it for a while, and in that time it actually got released. So that's unfortunate. So I'm going to pretty much re-record the entire video, I think. I don't even think I had it edited entirely as of right now. If so, I will have a different audio. Now I'll just re-record the whole thing. Anyway, so today we're going to be discussing the whole Vrchat economy system that they are trying to put in place. So recently, one of, if not the biggest things that happened is that they updated the game to include some Vrchat player economy. Now, there are a ton of opinions on this, and since I've talked about Vrchat and stuff like that in the past, I think it's only natural that I, give my own 2 cents and opinions on this. This is going to be a quick video, so this is going to be like a Saturday upload, so don't worry too much about it. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. But overall, one of, if not the biggest things that I had emphasized, at least in the first take of this, is that, well, I was actually more neutral on it than most other people. And the Vrchat player economy in this context actually is fine. I don't think that it'll light the world on fire, but I don't think that it's the worst thing in the world here. But at the same time, you have to understand that in terms of content creation and how content creators make money, they have multiple different options, which is basically just diversification. Cast the widest net, as it were. To just list off a couple of small options that you can have YouTube videos and YouTube AdSense, or you can have YouTube followers that like join and make you money in that content. It's a fucking, you know what it is, but all the people will say that. There's also Patreon as well as Gumroad and God dang it. You know what I mean? All the things that YouTubers say that they do. Like, for example, I, again, have a Patreon, as well as I have a Gumroad, and I have a Bandcamp. That's the word that I was missing. And I'm getting close to 1,000k subscribers to be able to make YouTube AdSense and to maybe make a follower or specialty thing that you can donate money for. I also do stream on Twitch where people can donate money and give me stuff in my tip jar. And I even have things for, like, that I don't post around, which is my link tree to stuff. I also, again, do commissions and things. And again, all this is stuff that I usually drag on about and all that. But in this context, we currently have one of the more interesting ones, which is the Vrchat creator economy. And this is something that the Vrchat devs have been talking about for a long, long time. And one of, if not the biggest things with the Vrchat whole system is that most people are going to be like, they're going to basically start sectioning out this and that and the other thing. So here's what I will have to say. I think that for the most part, this isn't going to shake the entire world. For those people who are saying, oh, it's the end times and Vrchat is done, I don't think that that's the case for a few reasons. One of them, not the biggest reasons, is the amount of community that is, well, that is in Vrchat. I think that some of the newer people that are maybe starting to come into Vrchat for whatever reason, since that does tend to happen, might see the system and then might try to exploit it. But at the end of the day, there's enough free content for a lot of people to just say, no, I'm going to go to the free content rather than, pay you for whatever reason. And I think that it'll be another good avenue to make money for these content creators and stuff like that. As well as a couple other things. But we'll get into those edge cases and stuff later. But one of the biggest problems that a lot of people seem to talk about, at least with the creator economy, is the 50-50 split. Now, the 50-50 split is actually more common than you might think. The 50-50 split is on one of, if not the biggest streaming platforms, Twitch, where you get 50% or more-ish of the actual money. I think it depends on a couple other things. Donations themselves are taken out of only the places where you get taxed and stuff. But as for like Twitch bits and things like that, 50% of that does tend to go to it. And again, stuff through Twitch is a little bit different. You'd kind of have to look that up yourself. So yeah, that's one of the biggest revenue split things that they had, and that was in their official documentation and stuff, which I'll see if I can find and link in the description again. If I can't, just again, it not to worry too much. But there was some interesting edge cases that I wanted to discuss, at least in the context of this, that I got to talk about with a couple of people. One of the biggest edge cases was being able to pay to get into a specific club. Now, again, this isn't something that's actually as abnormal as some people make it out to be. Some people already have this sort of pay to get into exclusive clubs and benefits and stuff. The main one that I can think of is like VRCDN, but that's like its own CDN service, like streaming service, so they have to keep the lights on. However, for things like B Club, where you can get into the VIP area by spending money, or how other places you can spend some money to get to the VIP area there as well. Even the club/party that I work or I go to a lot, they have the same. They had tried a similar system, but it's a lot more complicated and complex than you might think it is originally. In any case, one of, if not the biggest things about this that's not really a problem, but more of an interesting edge case, is talking about, again, the benefits that people could get if these benefits are small, if these benefits are big. And then another interesting edge case is what happens when they start introducing things like paying for avatars through VRChat. Again, I think this is something that the devs actually do want to make a reality, and that's fine. More of not the biggest things is that this sort of reality already kind of exists. I can tell you from personal experience, I have over a fuck ton of avatars, and to be clear, that's a lot. And I am one of the few people that I will ask and where the person got that avatar, and again, I would really want to have that. To have a more premium avatar that's still public, that can be unlocked, but you just have to pay for it. Like, that's not too far fetched, and in some cases is fine, because the thing is that sort of stuff already exists. There's commissions, there's people like that and things like that. But it's like, oh, that means it'll get rid of the current player economy. It's like, one, the current player economy will probably either just move on to other things, even if they do that, and two, they really can't regulate that. That's the problem. And regulating that is the hard thing. The really only big thing that they can regulate is the SDK. And again, if they make it so that way you have to pay, people like that who are not willing to pay and don't want to do anything other than make it, like, that community and those creators will start to almost instantly dry up, because not everyone can afford that, because everything's getting more expensive. But I think that the biggest thing is with the edge cases is stuff for clubs. And on the club business level, they don't really make a lot of money, at least for the most part. There's a few times where I think that the clubs themselves will find ways to make it. Like, a few examples that I actually thought of off the top of my head. For some clubs, they might have like a donation tier where you can donate a specific amount of money, or you can donate a specific amount of VRChat coins, as I'm going to call them, V coins, I guess, where you can donate an amount of. I have to come up with a fucking name of these. We'll just call them V coins for right now, since that's what they seem to be calling it. But you can donate a specific amount of V coins to the club to be able to get a specific perk, or to just be able to support them. And then you can up that donation to get more stuff, or down that donation to get less stuff. And then some people would be like V coins to get an avatar or a special thing above a person's head. But I think that the most important and interesting implication in this would be donations for, say, a charity case that takes place in VRChat, or to be able to host conventions in VRChat, or to be able to host specific concerts in VRChat. All of those things require a lot of money to kind of change hands, unless you're doing it completely for free. Especially for the donation one for, say, a charity live event. That right there would be very difficult to get a lot of money, and you'd have to get, again, it's mostly a zero profit venture, but you still want a way to raise the most money possible. And yeah, absolutely, you're already cutting your stuff 50% in half, but that's because that's the usual like venue and the usual other stuff that is tending to, raise money for things. And overall, I think that in special occasions like that, most people would be definitely willing to open up their wallet to do that sort of profit stuff, or to do that sort of thing, because like some people want to see specific concerts, or some people want to see specific artists in those concerts and listen and do that stuff. I mean, again, there's already conventions and things like that already happen outside in the world of actually VRChat, if you tend to look. Some people do have that, some people don't have that. It's very weird. For a long time, one of, if not the biggest things that I said was a big problem was Heist VR, and I still stand by that Heist VR's policy of only allowing people who are in virtual reality to exist in the club is still a bad policy, in my personal opinion. But I think that they've either lifted that or they got enough backlash that they don't do that anymore. Unsure as to the update on that situation. I have not checked in that. I just don't really care. In any case, one of the biggest things about this is those edge cases of the clubs completely locking themselves down in order to, you have to pay at the door to even get into the club. And to me, I don't think that will happen, at least for the most part, because there is enough VRChat clubs now in the club community that most people will still have things going on business as usual. I think that all that this will do, really, is just add a way to support your favorite club that you like to go to a lot and make them a lot easier, make it a bit more streamlined, which is kind of what they want to start to introduce. Now, one thing that I would love to have is a way to earn these sorts of coins by playing these games. Now, again, this is being that it's tied to like a real world policy, might create some inflation because of that sort of thing. Though unsure as to how long or what you would even need to do to earn these sorts of coins. Maybe you'd have to play specific games that the VRChat devs are doing it. Maybe you can get paid by the VRChat devs to do like the experimental stuff. Unsure. But I would like to think that in order to like kickstart this sort of thing, they would need to have some people working on that, or some people working with them in order to make these sorts of things happen. So maybe it'll be one of those earn to play, pay to earn, whatever kind of games. And at least for VRChat's sake, so long as they walk that tightrope, I think it's fine. But that gets into like NFT and cryptocurrency territory, so maybe not. Unsure as to where this is currently going, but I think overall the following. Number one, the edge cases that people are talking about, where, yes, they are edge cases, by the way, because most people like this game to be free and open to everyone. That's like how this whole thing in community works. One, the edge cases of people who are going to be trying to make a profit off of making a club work by having you make sure that you pay them enough money so that they can keep the lights on, at least in that context. They won't be as successful. They might be a little bit successful, but they won't be as successful as getting people into the door as the people who will offer those same services, and sometimes even better services, for free. I think that the edge cases of, say, special events and things like cons and stuff that are normally free but can be paid for, this just streamlines the process and adds another way for the people to already get them to pay and, get tickets to things like that. I think those might start to increase because now people can actually make a little bit more money out of it, and it's fine. I think the donation tiers to specific clubs will start to actually be more streamlined as well, and to actually, get them doing this and have them be upscaled and stuff like that. I think that's completely fine. And that I am unsure if they're going to be allowed to like make money for this, but also not make money for this. It's very odd. But overall, I don't think that the introduction of player economy is really going to shake the core as much as other people as much as other people think, because this sort of thing happened in Neos, and Neos had other problems other than this player economy thing, but they still had a pretty sizable player count, which is all like now gone over to Resonant and stuff, and there was still ways to support them, and now there is still ways to support them and stuff. And God damn it, my fucking nose is getting all clogged again. Anyway, long story short, I don't think that this will rock the boat as much as people will say. I just think that this is an interesting idea, and the more that people sit on it, the more that they might see that it's being at least fun. Anyway, I think I've talked your ear off enough. My name is GamePenguin21. This video is going to be a pretty quick one. So yeah, and player economy is pretty cool. If you like what it is that I do and want to support me in any way, shape, or form, links down to everything in the description down below. But your viewership and liking and subscribing is enough for me. In any case, thank you so much for watching again, and peace on.
Hey man, can I get a favor? Yeah, sure.